Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I want to start an 18-inch indoor soil garden, and I'm planning to grow all kinds of different seeds in there for a nice little sort of perpetual salad garden. Also, I'll be adding some tiny Tim tomatoes and some strawberries. It's called a perpetual strawberry, and hopefully it will come out to be a full indoor garden, only about 18 inches long. But since I'll be using two of these, it will be 18 by 15 because they're 7 inches wide. So first step is to get the Grow LED light cleaned out, and that's what I did. Very beautiful light, very clean, and it uses very powerful light that has full wavelengths. I have a video on that. I do grow green onions in the house. I have been harvesting the green onions with my family for a long time now, and we enjoy doing that. And this light is really powerful even for tomatoes, which I grew last year. But I did use a dwarf tomato last year, and I'm switching to a couple other varieties this year just to see how it goes. And also they're cherries this year, not regular tomatoes. Anyway, so the first step is to clean the light, and then we are ready to begin. Okay, so for this larger project, I will be using these nice hard plastic containers. They are a little over 4 inches wide and 6 inches deep, and I have a good reason for that. I'll be using one for the bottom, a plastic inside that, and then the top one will be having the soil and going and sitting in this plastic bag. So I am making a self-watering system for the indoor garden. I have used self-watering lots of times outdoors. I have grown basil really good this way, and this depth seems to be the right amount even for the indoor garden. So the purpose is to have this plastic bag insulate and keep the water in. Only a small amount of water should be in there, not a lot of water. One of the biggest problems with indoor gardens is overwatering, and by looking at the topsoil, it's hard to tell how the plant is doing. There are gadgets we can buy to check the water level into the soil, but generally the idea is to encourage your plant to go deeper for the water and develop better roots. So 6 inches seems to be fine, since most plants would have the roots up here, and by putting this water at the bottom a little, you encourage them to relax, to have air, but at the same time reach down for that water reservoir with all the nutrients in it. So I will not be adding the water through any kind of a method strictly into the container in the bottom. I'll just be watering on top, and this reservoir on the bottom would just be sitting there to do its job. So it's not kind of like a self-watering. It's kind of halfway between the self-watering containers you buy from the store where there's a dish at the bottom, and halfway it's the other kind where you'll be putting the water to the reservoir only. Okay, that being said, we're ready to do the rest. So we'll be going in here and we'll be starting. Okay, so the garden is set up. We're having a total of, let's see, 16 containers. They are placed in nice neat rows, and they look like they're tight to each other. That's okay. Our goal is to produce vegetables in here, and then they'll have a little bit of leeway between each one to kind of tuck in with each other. That way we could use the space properly. 18 inches this way long and 7 on each, so about 15 inches wide, and making the best use of the space in the tray, the space on this little stand, which is also holding my arrow garden. And we will have the maximum usage of this beautiful light. Meantime, I still have access to the knob so that I can bring the lights lower or higher depending on what we need. And the rest of this will be just placing whatever that you like to grow. I'm going to go ahead and pause and show you what my plan is for this one. I do have another much larger indoor garden. Some of the stuff that I have been growing are using residual light here, but they're mostly temporary. They're going to be moving on and transferring. This is my cucumber indoors. This is my other one. I have multiple ones. And the good thing about soil versus water system is that if you don't really put too much water, you're not going to damage the cucumbers. And so I really like that about soil. I do have celery regrowing here, celery from seed, and I have my green onions is still here. If you haven't seen the video on the green onions, these are kitchen dishware that I have converted to the pot. And there's another video on that, how to do that. I have a cool gadget that helps you do that. I'm doing some garlic chives, and these are different kinds of tomatoes I just saw. Jelly bean and super sweet. They're going to be cherries, but I don't know. These have to go into a bigger garden because they grow taller. So for this garden, these residual plants might stay here if I have enough light from my air garden. I always use and suggest to my viewers to use the residual light from your air garden system or other garden system and kind of nourish your house plants. They really like using that, and you're not wasting any electricity that way. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the finished plan, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is going to be the tentative plan for the garden. We are going to be doing romaine lettuce, green peas, dwarf kale, some mustard. Then we have medium top beets, which is really nicer for indoors. We have spinach, some multicolored lettuce, reddish, and then on this back side I'll be having more green onions. This is a different kind of broccoli called the Seco, and I love this because we do like stir frying the thin stems, and the Seco gives you a lot of cuisine possibilities with the stem. The stem is very lovely on this one. We also are going to harvest the leaves from that. So we intend to grow all of these fully, and they'll be harvested and grow. Here's my white radish. We're going to have some garlic in here. The last two are really lovely. We have some basically everlasting strawberry or perpetual strawberry here. The seeds have sprouted, so I'm gonna have to wait for them to get a little bigger. And then we have Tiny Tim tomatoes. So it's gonna be a nice garden, hopefully. I may switch some of these around. There's a lot of work to be done. I have to put the seeds. Please go ahead and see my instructions on how to place really small seeds successfully, and so the method that really helps you germinate seeds very well. So once we do that, I'm thinking of maybe adding 2 strawberries and 2 Tiny Tims, or 2 of some of the crops. I have some empty back there. Other than that, remember, this might look like a tall order, but every garden requires a lot of work, of course. But specifically with indoor gardens, you really have to use the best use of the growing light. And if you are doing harvest and grow, it's kind of not that bad because you will be thinning out your garden and there'll be more space for them to regrow. So there's no problem with that. Also, we're using bigger containers, so we're not going to overdo it, hopefully. And that is going to be all there is for this video. It's really exciting. These are all standing nice and tall. You don't want anything taller than 6 inches, I think, because from my experience, When the plants grow, you're going to have trouble. Even though these beautiful lights have a good 18 inches or 24 inches adjustment, you're still going to need 6 inches away from your plants. And so you need something that could afford that. You also don't want to go smaller, because then you're having issues with plants getting enough water versus you rotting the plants indoors. So this is the garden, and I will give you an update as soon as I feel like we have a good video for that. Other than that, this will be a good video to inspire the people that don't have enough room in your where you live at. If you're in an apartment, any alternative living, and you want to have a nice garden with a small size kind of successful grower, this will be the thing to do. I do have a larger garden, like I said, that grows a lot more, but this will be a nice, lovely garden for any home, really. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, give a like, please, and leave a comment below. Please subscribe to support my channel, and thanks so much for watching. One more thing I wanted to mention is I added a few things today. I added some collards, some celery, and some cilantro mixed with parsley. So this will be a nice one. And I also added dill, because fresh dill is really good. It's absolutely nice. Now you can add all the other herbs you want, but at this point, these are the ones I was interested in. And since there's plenty of space between the two lights, I used it and I added those three. Now again, this will be just fine for this style of lamp, and they are going to be on a timer. These machines are very smart machines, so they provide 16 hours of light and then turn off on their own. But just to be safe, and if we here and there miss getting to it or something, we'll put a timer on to make sure that we don't have to deal with that hassle. And another thing is the great advantage of using container gardening indoors is you can mix these around or replace them, reposition them. And I decided, for example, to put my Desico broccoli on the side, because I know if it's going to get a little bigger than other things, it could have the side to kind of drift to, and things like peas will be on the corner where they can flow down if they're not going to be trellised, which I won't. And just one tomato in here. My tomatoes are going to be in my bigger indoor garden, so I don't have to worry about that. But I want to try one here, and the tiny tin would be fine for that. But other than that, you can switch these containers as the plants grow. I probably will be doing a few of that. I always end up switching some containers around. Celery also is in the corner where you could use the side. There's plenty of residual light, as you can see, and there's also space. But you have to be smart about where to put which crop so that you arrange it better for yourself to reach to them, be it when you're feeding, be it when you're harvesting especially. And I will look forward to that in my family. I don't know how early these will be sprouting, or how often would I have updates, but look forward to those. I'll try to put a few updates as soon as see things happening. Thanks so much for watching.